You step out of the lab at midnight. The specimen slides through the water under your microscope, a translucent bell no bigger than your thumbnail that pulses once, twice, and then does something that dismantles everything you thought you knew about the boundary between life and death. There is a creature in the Mediterranean Sea whose cells do not obey the one-way arrow of time. It was discovered in 1883, drifting in the warm currents off the coast of Italy, and for more than a century, nobody noticed what it could actually do. The species is called Turritopsis dohrnii. You might know it as the immortal jellyfish, but that name is a trap. Immortality is not what this animal possesses. What it possesses is stranger, more unsettling, and biologically forbidden. Every other living thing you know travels in one direction: birth, growth, reproduction, decline, death. The jellyfish travels in a circle. When its body is damaged, when it starves, when the environment turns hostile, it does not die. It reverses. It pulls its adult form back into a juvenile polyp, a creature that looks nothing like the one you just saw pulse under the lens. That reversal is not aging in reverse. It is a kind of cellular betrayal. The jellyfish's cells abandon their specialized identities. A cell that once fired a stinging nematocyst forgets what it was and becomes something else. A muscle cell becomes a nerve cell. A nerve cell becomes a skin cell. This process has a name: transdifferentiation. It sounds like a laboratory trick. It is biology. If you want to keep uncovering these cellular betrayals, the ones that rewrite what you thought was final, subscribe to this channel. Because the more you watch, the more you realize the animal kingdom is filled with secret scripts that only get stranger. And then in the comments, tell me, what did you feel the moment you learned a cell could abandon its own identity like that? Not a reaction, a single word, the one that landed first. In 2022, a team of researchers sequenced the genome of Turritopsis dohrnii and published their findings in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences. They found that the jellyfish carries a genetic toolkit for rewriting its own cellular fate, a set of instructions that remains silent until damage or starvation triggers the unspooling. Think about what that means. An animal carries within its DNA the blueprint to become its own infant again, not to heal, not to regenerate a lost limb, to collapse its entire adult body back into the starting point, like a novel whose final chapter erases every page before it and rewrites the beginning from scratch. There is a version of this story that appears in ancient texts. The phoenix builds a nest, ignites itself, and a new bird rises from the embers. Cultures from Egypt to Greece described a creature that dies and is reborn at dawn, every day, as reliably as the sun. The parallel is tempting. It is also misleading. The phoenix burns. The jellyfish does not burn. It does not die at dusk and emerge at dawn. Its reversal happens on no schedule you could mark on a calendar. It happens when the animal decides that its current form is no longer worth maintaining. The real creature that dies every night and rebuilds itself at dawn is not a jellyfish. It is you. Every night, while you sleep, your brain runs a cleaning cycle. Cerebrospinal fluid pulses through the narrow spaces between your neurons, flushing away metabolic waste that accumulated during the day. The glymphatic system, discovered in 2012 by researchers at the University of Rochester, only activates during deep sleep. Without it, the toxic proteins that build up in your brain would destroy your neural connections within days. You die a little every night. Your conscious self dissolves. The narrative that holds your identity together, the continuous thread of "I am here" and "I am the same person who woke up yesterday," that thread is dismantled and rewoven during the hours when you are not there to witness it. The difference is that you have no control over the process. Your brain does it automatically, without your permission, without your awareness. If you have made it this far, you already understand. This channel is about the hidden rules that govern every living thing, including the one inside your skull. Subscribe so you do not miss the next clue, the next species that forces you to recalibrate what you call normal. And in the comments, leave a keyword for the nightly dismantling you just learned about, the system your brain uses to erase and rewrite itself while you sleep. One word: the jellyfish chooses. When conditions are right, when the water is warm and the food is abundant, Turritopsis dohrnii lives as a medusa, the bell-shaped form you recognize as a jellyfish. It drifts, it feeds, it reproduces, it ages. But when the water temperature drops, When the food runs out, when a predator tears its tissue, the jellyfish activates a different program. It stops being a medusa. It settles onto the seafloor. Its tentacles retract. Its bell collapses. The cells that made up its adult body reorganize themselves into a stalk, then a polyp, the sessile stage that looks like a tiny sea anemone attached to the rock. That polyp buds. And from those buds, genetically identical medusae emerge, young again, untouched by the damage that forced their parent to retreat. This is not resurrection. Resurrection implies a return from death. The jellyfish never fully dies. It steps backward along its own developmental path, bypassing the point of no return that every other animal crosses without thinking. In 1995, researchers demonstrated that Hydra, a freshwater relative of the jellyfish, also shows remarkable regenerative capacity. The biologist A.J. Tardant published a review in Microscopy Research and Technique that year, describing Hydra as a classic model for morphogenesis precisely because its tissue never stops renewing. Hydra does not need injury to regenerate. It replaces its own cells constantly, like a building whose bricks are swapped out one by one while the structure remains standing. Some Hydra colonies have been observed in laboratories for decades without aging. They are effectively immortal in the sense that they do not die of old age. But they can still be eaten. They can still starve. They can still succumb to disease. The jellyfish carries this logic further. It does not merely renew its tissues. It rewinds its entire life stage. It is the only animal known to science that can revert from a reproductively mature adult back to a sexually immature juvenile. The American Museum of Natural History confirmed this in a 2022 report, noting that Turritopsis dohrnii is the only form known to have the ability to return to a polyp state. Now consider the landscape underneath that statement. The ocean is filled with creatures that regenerate. Starfish regrow arms. Planarian flatworms regrow entire bodies from severed fragments. Lizards regrow tails. But none of them can reach back into their own past and pull their juvenile self forward into the present. None of them can decide, at the cellular level, to become unborn. The mechanism is transdifferentiation. A differentiated cell, one that is already committed to a specific role, switches its identity. It does not divide into a stem cell first. It changes directly. The same nucleus that directed a stinging cell now directs a muscle cell. The genes that were silenced in the adult become active again in the polyp. The entire animal is a palimpsest, a page that has been written on, erased, and written on again, using the same ink. In 2017, a team led by N.K. Koenig published findings in BMC Developmental Biology, showing that Hydra stem cell behavior and tissue homeostasis help explain the animal's apparent negligible senescence. The Hydra does not get old. Its stem cells keep dividing, keep differentiating, keep replacing the worn-out cells faster than wear can accumulate. The jellyfish has taken this principle and applied it to the entire body plan. There is a cost to this ability. The jellyfish that reverts to a polyp loses everything it gained as an adult. It loses its tentacles. It loses its ability to swim. It loses its reproductive organs. It becomes, once again, a stationary bud on the ocean floor, waiting for conditions to improve before it builds another adult body. The cellular memory of what it was is not preserved. The new medusa that buds from the polyp is genetically identical to the old one, but its experiences, the damage it accumulated, the close calls with predators, all of that is wiped clean. You could argue that the jellyfish does not remember its previous life. It does not carry the scars. It does not carry the knowledge. It is born again in the most literal sense, a fresh copy of the same program, without the history that made the original version worth saving. This is the part that unsettles. The jellyfish cheats death by abandoning everything that made it who it was. It sacrifices its identity to preserve its lineage. The self is not continuous. It is a temporary arrangement of cells that can be dissolved and reassembled, like a sentence rewritten in the same alphabet. The ancient Egyptians understood this pattern better than most modern biologists might expect. They associated the phoenix with the sun that dies at night and is reborn in the morning. Not a literal burning bird, but a daily cycle of dissolution and reformation. The sun disappears below the horizon. The world goes dark, and then light returns from a source that seems to have been destroyed. The same sun, but different. In Greek retellings, the phoenix appears at dawn, bathes in water, and sings before continuing its cycle. The song is a signal that transformation has occurred. The jellyfish has no song. It has no dawn. It has no audience. It performs the most radical biological act in the animal kingdom in complete silence, on a seafloor where no one is watching. There is a 1922 study published in Science by David A. Jackson that first described the regenerative capacity of freshwater hydra. Jackson noted that small fragments of the animal could regenerate into complete organisms. He did not know that 90 years later, scientists would find a jellyfish that could do the same thing without needing to be cut. The question that lingers is not how the jellyfish does it. The genome is sequenced. The transdifferentiation pathway is mapped. The molecular tools are largely understood. The question is why? What evolutionary pressure produces an organism that can reverse its own development? What advantage outweighs the loss of everything the adult form provides? The most likely answer is survival in an unpredictable environment. The Mediterranean Sea, where Turritopsis doherni evolved, is not stable. Currents shift, temperatures fluctuate, food appears and disappears. A medusa that drifts into cold, nutrient-poor water cannot survive as an adult, but it can revert to a polyp, attached to a stable surface, and wait. Days, weeks, months, indefinitely. Until the water warms again, until the food returns, until it is safe to rebuild. The jellyfish does not die when the world becomes hostile. It retreats into a form that the world cannot harm as easily. It becomes small. It becomes still. It becomes patient. And when the conditions improve, it becomes large again, as if the difficult months never happened. If you have watched this far, do not let the trail go cold now. Subscribe so you are here when the next species reveals its forbidden logic, because the pattern is only beginning to surface. And in the comments, drop the one word that describes what this jellyfish does when it decides its adult form is no longer worth maintaining. A word that is not rebirth or resurrection, but something quieter, a strategy. That is not rebirth, that is a strategy. A biological hedge against a universe that does not guarantee continuity. You are reading this on a screen in a room that will eventually be forgotten. Your body is replacing its cells constantly, shedding old skin, growing new hair, refreshing the lining of your stomach every few days. The person you were 7 years ago has been replaced, molecule by molecule, with a different arrangement of matter that holds the same name. You are not the same organism you were when you began this sentence. You are a process disguised as a thing. The jellyfish is just honest about